Hi guys, and welcome back to Reed's Readers with your host, Clinton Reed. I'm trying another, setup. Sorry. I've already filmed this video once before. Okay. Still trying to figure out where to sit, how to do this. Ooh, I didn't mean to hit that. We're just gonna deal with it. Today I'm gonna bring to you guys my top 10 books of the year and two amazing series I was introduced this year that I feel like need the recognition that they deserve. First off, I want to apologize if this lighting is horrible. Actually, fuck it. We'll just use this lighting and hope to pray to God I can do some fixing in the editing process. Okay. Need to put another bulb up there. But whatever. I'm going to start with the two TV series. If you hear any dogs barking in the background, that's Chapel, and he needs to be quiet, because there's no one here. Keeps thinking that something's happening at the neighbor's house. They're getting attacked, and he just needs to chill the fuck out. And oh my god, that is not enough light. We'll at least do that, so at least there's some lighting in the background. I guess this will have to do, guys. Still moving things. It's been hectic, okay? Still trying to figure out things. Still trying to figure out when I'm going to have this stuff uploaded weekly. And yeah, so my life is a mess. How's y'all's? But let's talk about some positives this year and talk about, I do believe, almost everything I'm going to be talking about is going to be a 5-star this year, including the books. Okay. The two series that I want to talk about. Let's talk about the two series first. My two favorite new series, and I cannot wait for the fourth ones. And I just need more. First series is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This lovely series, Stalking Jack the Ripper, Hunting Prince Dracula, and Escaping from Houdini. This series is... It's hard to explain my love. Let's just state... just dark, creepy retellings that just have your heart a titter-tatter. Stalking Jack the Ripper is about a girl named Audrey Rose. It is Audrey, right? Yes, Audrey. I keep wanting to call her Amber Rose. Okay. Audrey Rose, who wants to be a pathologist in the 1800s. I do believe 1888. The first book follows her following the clues of Jack the Ripper and her trying to figure out who Jack the Ripper is. This book is amazing. The twists and turns in it are amazing. If you have not checked out this series, definitely check it out. I read these books back in October, and they're just to die for. They're the first series I've ever tabbed. Let me grab the other two off the shelf. Do you see all the tabs? I decided with this series, I tabbed up quotes that just stood out. Something that, hit me in the heartstring and just were lessons that I needed to know. I'm going to read a quote from Stalking Jack the Ripper that I feel like sums up the entire series as a whole. And that is, roses have both petals and thorns, my dark flower. You needn't believe something weak because it appears delicate. Show the world your bravery. Pretty much that's what she does in all three books. And side note, Thomas Cresswell is forever bae. Just bae. I'm still trying to figure out how to sit on this thing without being like whoop all the way down. The next series I want to talk about is probably my top 4 favorite series of all time now. And I need book 4 before I die. I am definitely going to be checking out everything this author's ever written. I've got another series of hers over there to check out. But that would be the Diviners series by Libba Bray. Book 1 is The Diviners. Book 2 is Layer of Dreams, which gave me nightmares. And book 4, Before the Devil Breaks You, which shattered my soul. All I'm going to say, because I went into all 3 of these books almost kind of blind. By the way, side note, the book's really not this big. I accidentally, when I replaced my paperbacks with hardbacks, ordered the large print version. Eventually I will replace that, but right now I don't have $36 to replace that. If any of y'all can find this for cheaper, let me know. This exact copy. Well, not the exact. I don't want the large print. But, The Diviners. The Diviners is, let me just sum it up in like one little short little synopsis. 1920s psychics help solve serial murder cases where the serial murders are ghosts. And there's so much more. There's a great friend group in this series. The audiobooks are amazing as well. I like to do an audiobook and listen while I read along. And this was one of those that I did that with. January Jones does the audiobooks, and she is phenomenal. So I highly, highly, highly recommend this series. I will state, the last part of this book kind of was a little bit scary and a little bit frightening. But I will state, Layer of Dreams gave me nightmares. And that'll tell you how good a book is if it gives you nightmares. And Before the Devil Breaks You, I cried like a bitch. 'Cause I'm a sissy lala, as my mom's boyfriend would say. Oh well. Now, let's get into the top 10 books of the year. I read almost 100 books this year. I'm not going to include any books that I have read in December. I liked what a couple of few other booktubers have been saying, that they're not including December. December's part of next year. And then all of that. That way we can do our top 10 favorites and all that stuff every year. I try to do standalones and stuff like that. And then if it's a series, I want to discuss that separately and stuff like that. Why are you leaving? Okay. So that's why, if y'all know that I've been praising other books this year, but they didn't make this list, it's because series I feel like should get their own little thing. But these 2 series over here deserved all the recognition that they deserved. And that's Stalking Jack the Ripper and The Diviners. So anything I read in December, you'll see next year. Okay, so book number 10 is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. This is the only thriller on the list, I do believe. And this really blew me away. I'm still thinking about this. I read this back in October for Spookathon, and I'm still, Like going, the fuck happened? Did that really just happen? What? I would love to see a movie, a TV show, a something of this. And I definitely want to pick up Final Girls next year and read the hell out of it because this is just so good. Just, just yeah. It's fucking amazing. This is pretty much a reverse Pretty Little Liars. It's about a girl named Emma. A girl named Emma Davis who went to this summer camp, and one day she wakes up and everyone else in her cabin has just poof disappeared, never to be seen again. 15 years later, she goes back to said cabin after it reopens, and she's there as a camp counselor. And then a similar event that happened from back in the day happens all over again. And this is all about the twists and turns and her finding out the truth and all that stuff. It's so good. I think everyone needs to check it out. And Riley Sager is phenomenal, and I really want to check out Final Girls. If I love Final Girls, then Riley Sager will instantly become an auto-buy author for me. Because this was just amazing. Okay. For book number 9, I couldn't decide between either one of these. So I had just placed them both in this because because both really go together. And I read one which made me want to read the other. And it's not a series, but one's like a book within a book. We'll get to that. I have Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell and Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. These books are phenomenal. Fangirl, which by the way, the only reason why I got this edition is the gorgeous artwork in it is phenomenal. I need every edition of this book because it just makes me warm and happy. Fangirl is about a girl named Cather. She has a twin named Rin, but Kath and Rin. It's about Kath who writes fan fiction of that world's Harry Potter, which she names Carry On. Which is about, her fan fiction is about Simon and Baz. Which pretty much is if Harry was the worst chosen one of all time and fell in love with Draco if Draco was a vampire. That's all you really need to know about that. And this is about her dealing with life and her anxiety problems. Anyone who has dealt with anxiety or has been part of a fandom or anything like that, I feel like you will really love this. And I have Landline by Rainbow Rowell to read this month. And I really want to check out a lot more of her books because her writing style is just gorgeous. So I highly recommend that everyone check this out. And, by the way, if you like Fangirl, definitely check out Carry On. I will premise before going into Carry On, I understand that not a lot of people like Carry On. But you've got to go into Carry On reading it like it's a fan fiction. Because if you don't, then you won't like the writing style. Because Rainbow Rowell literally wrote it as a fan fiction. And it's just boggles my mind how good both these stories are on their own. I read Carry On first because I was like, I read this earlier on this year and I'm like, I'm not big into contemporary novels. And then I was like, I really want more Simon and Baz. So I checked out Carry On and fell in love with Reagan. Book Boyfriend of the Year, of the month, of everything. I don't know. Thomas Cresswell fights for his spot, but definitely an author books that you really need to check out. So for book number 8, I know a lot of people have read this author, but this is the first year I've read him. And I've read 3 of his books so far, and I still have 1 more to go. And then I want to get a lot more of his others because he's such an auto-by-author now. I went into this blind, not knowing anything about the synopsis. And I feel like that's what you should do with this book because it's only 185 pages. It is 185, right? 181 pages. And that would be The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. It's such a short book. A friend of mine suggested I read it because he thought I would love it. And the only word I have to describe this is magical. Literally, magical. It's to die for. Check it out. You won't regret it. I'm not going to tell you anything about the synopsis, and I feel like no one should really read the synopsis because the synopsis really does not do the story justice. Go in it blind and have a good time. You could sit down and read this in a day, in an hour, 2 hours, whatever. By the way, if reading physical copies, if you're scared of that, check out the audiobook. All of Neil Gaiman's works are read by Neil Gaiman. So yeah, check it out. Phenomenal. I don't know what else to tell you on that one. Then, book number 7. Wait, 10, 9, 8. Yep, 7. I picked up this book because of Chelsea at Chelsea Darling Reads and Julie at Pages and Pens were talking about this when it was announced, and it was pretty much practical magic with lesbians, and it's a phenomenal book that made me cry, and that is Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno. Practical magic is all I gotta say. It's about these 2 sisters, Georgie and Mary, who live on an island. They're a family of witches. They're twins. Everyone in their family has powers by the time they turn 18. And if they don't get their powers by the time they turn 18, you just won't have them. And this is about Georgie's last summer before the end of the thing, and she still hasn't received her powers. But her sister Mary can float. And there's a storyline in here about a bird. That's very crucial to the story. But I will say there's some trigger warnings in this. I can't really tell you what the trigger warning's for because that kind of gives away the plot. But I highly recommend. I have like 2 of her other books over there. The Everything All at Once and the last Lost and Found over there to check out. She's now an auto-by-author for me. It's a short book. I don't know what else to tell you except check it out. You'll love it. Okay. Number 6 is a book which I read at the right time and really shattered me. When I went to the Oklahoma Teen Book Con that we had back in 2017, or was it 16? No, it was 17, back in October of 2017, to meet my favorite author, Adriana Mather, who wrote How to Hang a Witch and Haunting the Deep, and the soon-to-be-released Killing November, which comes out in March, which everyone needs to check out. James Bond meets Harry Potter, but tangent over. I met the author, Wendy Spinell, who wrote the Everland series, which is steampunk Peter Pan retelling. And she suggested that I should check out this book because we got to talking and stuff like that. And she's really sweet and down to earth. And I checked out this book, More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. Yes, Adam Silvera is an overhyped author on BookTube. Whatever. I completely understand. I still have 2 of his books to check out. This is about a boy named Aaron who the story starts off with him rubbing the smiley face on his arm where he sliced his wrists because the fact that his father committed suicide, and he thinks his father committed suicide because the fact that Aaron is gay. But also in this society, there is this company called the Lido Institute, which will take parts of your memory and erase them. And he wants to go through the procedure to have all the spots about him being gay taken out, and he can live a normal life as a straight boy. This book is all about acceptance and being who you are and all that loveliness. I will state, I literally cried my eyes out. There's a blurb here at the top that says, in his twisty, gritty, and profoundly moving New York Times bestselling debut, Adam Severa brings to life a charged, dangerous near-future summer in the Bronx. It's just this. I don't know what else to say without I'm actually tearing up now, just thinking about it. Just that cover is just all the paint and just it's to simplify being rainbow in a gray world, if that makes sense, of accepting who you are. Because you see all this black, it's literally supposed to be like being true to who you are in a dark world. And just very profound, and everyone should check it out. That was 6, right? Yep. Now we're to the top 5 books of the year. Number 5 is nobody's surprise that this made it on the list. And that is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Aliri Sons. Really hope I pronounced your name right. Been practicing for days. This is about a boy named Dante and a boy named Aristotle who come from different walks of life. They're both Latino, but one comes from the poor side that gets treated like they're non-existent, and then you've got Dante who comes from the fancier side of it because his father's a professor and all this other stuff. It's them becoming friends and then the life that happens and the things they have to go through and all that other stuff. This is such a beautifully written story, and I am so happy we're getting a sequel to this because I need more of these characters. This is just them coming to terms with being friends, anger, tragedy, everything else, and then love. At the heart of this is just love, and it's just beautiful. And if you need anything else to sell this, the audiobook is read by Lin-Manuel Miranda, the greatest playwright in our generation, who wrote Hamilton, the motherfucking musical. And also wrote the music for Moana by Disney. Check him out. Available on iTunes. Kidding! How to do the available on iTunes. I've been watching too many Drag Race videos. But yeah, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe is just a beautifully told story. And I think everyone in this entire world really needs to read it because it's just so eye-opening. That makes sense. It's a little slow at first, but once you get into it, the book just sucks you in. What just... Well, my phone's going cray-cray. Okay. I'm gonna pick up these four. So number 4, to nobody's surprise, is The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw. I must have that there. No. This thing is hurting my ass. Wicked Deep is pretty much practical magic meets hocus pocus. First off, before I get into it, can we talk about this stunning book? And then to throw it off, the underbook is the most gorgeous thing I have ever seen in literature. And then the words on the inside are just, ugh. This is about a town called Sparrow where 2 centuries ago, 3 sisters were hung or drowned. Drowned. They were drowned for being witches, and they come back every summer since they got drowned and take over the body of 3 teenage girls and drown. Each one drowns a boy. And it pretty much follows character named Penny. Yes. 17-year-old Penny has accepted the fate of the town, but this year, on the eve of the sisters' return, a boy named Beau arrives, unaware of the danger that has stumbled upon them. And it's about them discovering how to stop this curse from happening. Oh, it's so good. So good, so good, so good. I feel like I've been saying that about all these, but I would not be saying that they were my best books of the year if they weren't amazing. Okay, I will premise that the next 3 books shattered my soul and life, and I cried my eyes out because it's just, oh my god, just amazing. Okay, number 3. Let's go do that. Number 3 is a book that has been out since, it's been out for 50 years, I know that much. When was this book published? This book was first published in 1967. And a lot of people have read this book. I hadn't before this year, which is very weird, seeing as I'm from Oklahoma, and this one takes place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But that is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. I have a video on my channel, which, if I remember when I upload this at the library, I'll link it down below, of my reaction to reading this book, and how it's such a short book, but I connected with these characters in a way that a lot of people don't. Growing up gay in Oklahoma and getting bullied and treated horrible by people, I related to the characters in this, which are about the greasers and versus the Soch, and it follows Pony Boy and the events that happen in their life. And it's just, I really went into this blind. I had seen the 80s movie like years ago, but couldn't remember anything other than Stay Gold, Pony Boy. I am so happy to have finally read this. This, I think, is actually my favorite classic of all time. It's a modern classic, but it's such a beautiful story that everyone should at least experience in their lives. And I think I've got tear stains in pages where I bawled my eyes out for hours on end. I finished this book and just couldn't pick up another book for a bit because I just sat there. And let me read the synopsis for you. If you don't know what Outsiders is about, this is a heroic story of friendship and belonging. No one ever said life was easy, but Pony Boy is pretty sure that he's got things figured out. He knows that he can count on his brothers, Dairy and Soda Pop, and he knows that he can count on his friends, true friends, who would do anything for him, like Johnny and Two-Bit. And when it comes to the Soch, a vicious gang of rich kids who enjoy beating up on greasers like him and his friends, he knows that he can count on them for trouble. But one night, someone takes things too far, and Ponyboy's world is turned upside down. I'm just remembering the things that happened in this, and I'm already tearing up. Wow. That'll tell you how powerful this book is. I highly recommend The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. And you're probably wondering if that one made me cry. As bad as it did, what could be higher on the list? Oh God, I'm still tearing up. Well, let me tell you, these two books, besides Before the Devil Breaks You this year, has made me cry the most. One out of pure beauty and joy and a few things that happen in it. And the other one, literally halfway through it, number ones, I will tell you right now, literally halfway through it, I sat it off to the side, bawled my eyes for 2 hours, and then came back. But for my second favorite book of the year is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I know is really hyped on BookTube, which is kind of why I was interested in it, but the premise reminded me of Marilyn Monroe. It's about an 80-year-old woman named Evelyn Hugo as she tells her life story to a reporter by the name of Monique. She is pretty much the Puerto Rican or Colombian, I want to say Colombian, version of Marilyn Monroe, if Marilyn Monroe lived to be in her 80s, and it's all about her 7 husbands and who she truly loved. I went into this kind of blind, and it gave me everything I wanted and more. This book, she's just so gorgeous. Just that dress continues onto the back, and it's just, oh, so good. And if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you do that. I kind of want you to go into it a little bit blind, other than what I've told you, because the events that happen in this will change your life. Just do it. And to the last book of the year, which this video is kind of long, is no one should be surprised that this is my number one book of the year. Julie at Pages and Pens raves about this book all the effing time, and I read this during Contemporary-thon because of her, and that is The Serpent King by Jeff Zettner. This is the book that, like, somewhere about there, I literally, like, had to sit it down, cry for a couple of hours, and then go back into it. Because I fell in love with these characters so much, coming from someone who has grown up in a small town in Oklahoma. I grew up most of my life outside, well, before I moved to Norman and we moved to Arkansas and all those other things. I originally grew up in Minka, Oklahoma, which, if you blink, you miss the town. And this book was done so good when it came to religion and how it came with southernness and everything else. This book takes place in a town in Tennessee called Forest. Is it Forest or Forestville? Doesn't say. Follows 3 friends, Dill, who's the only son of a Pentecostal minister who urges him to handle poisonous rattlesnakes, whose father also went to jail for underage pornography. Travis, who is obsessed with fantasy books and like anything to do with like wizards and stuff like that, and wears a robe every day of his life, and his father beats him, calling him gay because he wears robes when it's really not, he's not gay. And then there's Lydia, who is like the youngest fashion blogger in the world. And it just follows their life of going through high school and senior year and the events that happen. Other than that, go into it blind. I know I've said that about the last several books, but I'm one of those people who like to go into things that are really blind. If someone's recommended me something and they say it's like their favorite book of all time, of course I'm going to pick it up. And I have now, since after Julie suggested this and a couple of others, I have now taken anything Julie has ever suggested because we have similar taste. And I normally don't read books like this. I don't really read books involving religion, or I'm not really big on contemporary, but now I've been looking at more and more contemporary books. This book is just phenomenal, and I cannot, like, praise it any more than it should be. But there you have it, guys. Those are the 10 books I loved this year. So, that's my top 10 of the year. And then next year, soon you'll get a video about me talking about what I want to do in the coming years. But that's all I've got for you guys today. And I guess I will talk to you guys later. Hey, comment down below and tell me your top 5 books of the year. Are they similar to mine? Have you read any of these books? Did you love them? Did you hate them? Comment down below and let me know. And if you haven't done that yet, hit that subscribe button if you so choose. And give me that thumbs up if you liked this content. Well, until next time, guys, remember, reading is what? Fundamental. Bye.